Namaste and welcome to the Enrich Your Life podcast. I'm Thorsten, father, son, life and leadership coach who knows how to stay grounded even when life gets chaotic. This space here is for you, the one who shows up, the one who gives a lot, the one who is always performing and holds space for everyone else, but forgot how to hold space for yourself. This podcast is a gentle invitation to turn inward, to listen again. So take a deep breath, slow down, and let this moment be for you.
Namaste, wonderful people, and welcome back to Enrich Your Life. Today I'm your host as usual, and today we're diving into a conversation that beautifully bridges success and soul. And my amazing, wonderful and inspiring guest today is Dr. Natalia Wiechowski. And she is a 3-time author, business embodiment mentor, and one of the most inspiring voices in conscious business today. She guides high achiever beyond traditional mindset work into emotional, energetic and strategic mastering, helping them rebuild a version of success that feels as good as it looks. As an add-on, she is also an Amazon #1 best-selling author, a global keynote speaker, and the woman behind one of the most authentic transformations on LinkedIn. Inspiring, in the meantime, correct me if I'm wrong later, 110,000 followers to live, lead and work from the inside out. Natalia, it's a huge pleasure for me and welcome to Enrich My Life. I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Thorsten. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Thank you. So, of course, as I mentioned before, I did a little bit preparation and research, and I really have to say, I mentioned it before, your story is really fascinating. Where you come from a traditional academic background to becoming one of the most recognized personal branding experts and now a mentor of emotional and also energetic mastery. So I would like to know, what was the moment when you really realized success on paper isn't just enough anymore?
Good question. I think the first story that I'd love to share, because there's not the ultimate moment. I feel that the way how we as human beings function, it's not that we are ready one day. We evolve and we keep on shedding layers and we give our best to be truthful and to be authentic until we at a certain stage realize, nah, that's not me anymore. And then we go through rebirth and death or transformation, or however you want to call that. So the first big aha moment was when I was 29 and I had achieved everything on paper in the sense of, as you said, I was an academic. I had in German we call it Diplom-Sozialwissenschaftlerin. So in English it is a Master of Arts in Social Science. I had left Germany at the age of 23. I was living and working in the UAE. I was living in Dubai. I had great friends. My team and I was working as a marketing manager. We were on the cover of leading magazines. We won awards. On the weekend, I was celebrating, having champagne. I could buy all of the shoes and handbags and all of that. So again, on the outside, everything looked like success. But I realized, on the inside, there is this meh, or I feel empty, or everything seems to be so shallow. And the big question ended up in, is this really it? What if there's another way to be, to live, to express yourself? And this is basically when I hit the stop button the first time and when I gifted myself with my first sabbatical.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And I come back to the sabbatical because that would be already my next question. So you said a couple of beautiful things, and that's why I reached out to you, because we both focus on that living from inside out, right? To really, because you said, I'm also supporting high achievers or ambitious people. They have achieved everything. They have a nice house, they have an amazing job, they climbed up the career ladder, but they feel empty inside and really ask, as you nicely said, that's it. So, and there was another nice word you mentioned, being authentic. I think we all say we are authentic, but authentic means to ourselves, to live our values. So what is your take on that, being really authentic to ourselves?
I love that question because I was highly confused about the concept of authenticity just a few years ago. I would say around 3.5 years ago, it made click. So in the past, I thought that being authentic means you give your best to show up professionally, whatever that means, because the way how a stand-up comedian shows up professionally is very different from how a lawyer shows up authentically and professionally, right? So we have this concept of being professional. And then I thought being authentic means you just add a little bit of humor on top, which means you make fun of yourself. And in that case, I bought myself a unicorn onesie and did a few crazy videos and photos. And that was not it. That was basically an extension of my brand. That was the way how I portrayed myself. It was my image. It was my online reputation, but it was not authentic. Authentic means original and true to yourself. And I had no clue who that self is. So during my second sabbatical, I was allowed to connect deeper with Natalia. And I realized that the work that I've done during my first sabbatical was important. Yes, learning about NLP and mindset and meditation and high performance, that's all super important. And it's the first level. But there is a second and a third level after that. And the second level is, spoiler, grab something, emotions. I hated emotions, especially quote unquote negative emotions. And I just suppressed them. And I was 100% convinced that this is what anger management and control, whatever, means. Until I realized, I mean, your emotions, when you suppress them, this is what makes you sick and inauthentic. And your most authentic version really is able to feel and to express everything, which does not mean that I give you the permission slip to be angry everywhere or to cry everywhere. No. It's about knowing when you are allowed, when you gift yourself with the opportunity of the emotions to flow through. So when you have that mindset, then the emotional work, when you understand yourself, then we can go into strategy and energy. And when you live and work and create from that state of being, everything becomes more fun and more ease and more flowy. This is when people finally step into their yin and yang energy, when there is harmony and balance within. Because, and this is the last thought, I learned that people, especially in the Western world, we have a tendency to spend too much time in our head, and we glorify yang energy, the masculine principle, which is fantastic. We need it, especially on this planet, to get things done. And when we suppress or don't value or don't understand, or maybe are terrified of the feminine core essence, this is how we end up where we are right now as humanity. And what are we? Depressed, lacking purpose, feeling shameful when we experience joy or pleasure. And I don't think we have to live and be this way.
Wow. So I hope everyone feels the energy. So the temperature in my room changed by at least 15 degrees. So I'm amazed by the energy you bring in that conversation. And I'm really grateful for that. And you shared so many things with showing emotions. And when we're in the head, I think especially I experience this as well, in the Western part, or when we go more in the Eastern part where the people really are more. So here we live in the head, as you say, right? And we have, I think, approximately 85,000 thoughts per day. And 85% of them are, negative or repetitive, or the stories we are telling ourselves or other people tell us. And there's a nice saying, if you stay in your head, you're dead.
Ooh.
So, and
I love that.
That's, and that's why I liked so much when you talked about the emotions, right? So which emotions can I show? That's what we think. Or can I be sad? Can I cry? And which emotions are we willing to show? That we say, I'm coming back to authentic. I'm authentic. So, and you mentioned also the sabbaticals, right? A couple of times. And you have taken 2 sabbaticals. One, I think, is nearly 10 years ago, and another one more recently. So, what did these seasons of stepping back teach you about who you truly are? And we all have heard you are on your journey already and you're authentic, you have all the things. But I would like to hear from you, for the listeners, what is it about you, what you found out?
Mm-hmm. To cut a very long story short, in my first sabbatical, I've learned that I am so much more than my thoughts. I am a person who has a very loud inner critic or inner judge. That is a part of me that sits on my shoulder or somewhere in my head and is continuously judging everything and everybody around me. And a lot of people who listen right now will understand, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. By the way, I'm not talking about schizophrenia. That is something totally different. I'm talking about the fact everybody knows the story of the little angel and the little devil sitting on our shoulder. Yes, do it. No, don't do it. Be a good girl. Ah, no, be a naughty girl. This is what I talk about. I'm talking about the psyche. And our psyche is very complex and it has different parts. The inner judge, that's what's true for me, is a mini version of your primary caretaker. And your primary caretaker gave their best to raise you, to educate you. This is not about blaming or shaming. No, this is about accepting where we are. This is about acknowledging where we are. So your primary caretaker, may it be your mom, your dad, your grandma, whoever raised you, they gave their best to make you a mature and loving and successful member of society. And well, certain sentences that they shared are kind of looping in your system. And especially the judgment, and especially the am I good enough? Am I not good enough? This is your inner critic and your inner judge. So I, in my first sabbatical, understood that I am not this inner judge, or I'm not these thoughts that keep on popping up. As you said, 80,000, 85,000 thoughts per day. Because I was also a little bit worried. Like sometimes I have very sick thoughts, or very mean thoughts, or very nasty thoughts. And I was judging myself for having these thoughts, which was hilarious. So I'm judging myself for judging and whatever. So it's a spiral. So first sabbatical, wow, I am not my thoughts. Amazing. Who am I then? I am so much more. Okay, well, let's explore. And then during that second sabbatical, when I finally learned to feel quote unquote negative emotions, when I learned how to safely express and feel anger, rage, betrayal, envy, disappointment, disgust, all of this, Thorsten, I wasn't able to do that. I was like, ew, it's yucky. Or I was super afraid that I will poof out of existence because these emotions are too big. Now, intellectually, I knew this wouldn't happen. But my body, my nervous system, I didn't have, again, the capacity to feel that yet. It's like a muscle that wasn't trained. Or another metaphor that I can give you, it's a little bit as if you are a tiny little cup and you have so much water. It's not going to fit in there. So I needed to stretch the container to feel all of this. And then when I felt through the darkest emotions that I ever had, I realized, whoa, at the end of this, number one, I'm still alive. Hooray. Number two, I am also not my emotions. Okay. So, and this understanding is more than just an intellectual understanding. It is a deeply bodily knowing. It's kind of, again, to give you a metaphor, as if you tattooed that information into your DNA. You can't forget it. It's a part of you. It's not this stuff that we learned at school that we sometimes forget because it was just external data that we got into our brain. It's really something, it's like opening Pandora's box, but a positive box. And after that, you cannot unsee what you have seen because you expanded your awareness. So these are, the two things that I learned a lot, or that I learned about myself in my first and second sabbatical. And they changed everything, how I work, how I think, how I move through this world.
Wow, amazing. And of course, I have a couple of questions because you said nicely the judge, right? So everybody judges. We judge ourselves heavily, as you just nicely described. We judge other people, as you do as well, or everyone, and we judge situations, right? Why does this person has the free parking slot or the next promotion? And then below the three judges, I call them the saboteurs, or what you said, right? What we received and then we said, oh, you're not good enough and all this stuff. And the good thing is that you say when you find out, because we all have them, even you, such a positive, energized, inspirational person, everybody has them. The question is, how do we deal with them? And that we say, yeah, they are part of my life. I liked very much your metaphor with the tattoo. Mm-hmm. That we say, yeah, they're always here, but you have the tattoo. You can hide it or you can ignore it, but it will be always there. You just have to deal with it. I like that very much. And there's another nice thinking that we say, you cannot not think, right? And I'm going to prove that. So I like the story of the pink elephant. When I tell you, don't think about a pink elephant, you can try
Exactly.
not to do it. But then I would do this and say, don't think about the pink elephant. And then it's impossible. And that's the question when we say, we have to think anyway. Why don't we then just think positive and make our life easy?
True. It requires work, and not everybody's willing to do that work. Because it was easy, everybody would do it. If you're thinking negatively, because a lot of people will now judge themselves, oh, I'm so negative, I'm thinking negatively, I want to think positively. Well, I recently created a post on LinkedIn. You can't affirm yourself. You can't use positive affirmations to get yourself out of these patterns. What are these patterns? These patterns are a protection mechanism. They protected you from something in the past. And now you realize, okay, it's there. You acknowledge it. And then you need another tool. You need another tool to get rid of them. And this is where therapy comes in. Because therapy, and I don't mean the way how it's portrayed in mainstream media, you're lying there on a couch and there's this super old shrink who doesn't really care and you just talk. No, this is not how modern therapy works like. If it is a therapist or a holistic psychologist, doesn't matter. Some people also prefer to work with a shaman or with a medium or with a healer. You choose which method works for you. What I invite you to do is to go beyond the level of the intellect, because the latest studies show that just by talking, you will not be able to get over or to break this pattern. It's a little bit as if you have a nail and you want to get it into the wall. So of course you can do that with a screwdriver, you have a nail, screwdriver, it would be smarter if you use the hammer, right? This is why I would be curious and open enough to work with an expert in this field who can hold the space so that you basically rewire, that you change this pattern, that you break through this pattern. And I'm not saying that this is easy. I'm not saying that this can be done like this. Yes, maybe sometimes for some people. And if you have curiosity and patience, and if you're willing to look into that, then slowly but surely, with the awareness and with consciously learning new behavior, with creating new situations in your life that prove to you that you are now safe, you will eventually get out of this pattern. And with that, perceive reality in a total different way. It's a little bit as if you have a new filter, and certain colors of the sun, they come through more intensely. Again, that's the best way how I can poetically put it.
Beautiful. And I'm inspired by all the metaphors I think it makes our listeners way easier to follow, and especially on your journey. And you also mentioned this muscle, or the brain muscle, right? We need to do more. And what I have seen when I follow your posts, you often say that mindset work is not enough. That's just what you, I think, said. And that real transformation happens when we move from knowing to embodying. Yes. So what does embodiment actually mean to you in business and in life?
Embodiment, such a complicated term for many, many years. I I was reading about it. I was philosophizing. I was talking to other people. I was listening to podcasts. I was like, what does this embodiment mean? it was really, I was at the verge of being angry because I knew it is a key aspect in my life, but I didn't know, it didn't land until after some time I understood that the easiest way to describe embodiment is that what you do, what you say, and who you are is all the same. And people
Beautiful.
feel that, they understand it, they see it. Let me give you the opposite example. Let's say you're on social media and you see somebody creating a video or doing a LinkedIn Live or whatever it is, and they say one thing and they dress the part, and you can see they put in the effort, they really invested a lot of time and maybe even money to become a better speaker and to have these beautiful slides and whatever. But something in you is like, I don't trust him. Or, something is off. And you don't do that from an energy of you want to hurt them or you want to blame them. It's just as if an inner knowing, your inner compass is saying there's a discrepancy. There's an energetic mismatch. And in this scenario, the person is just not living, not being what they say. And it's okay because we all are on a different journey. So this is how I see embodiment. And for me, business embodiment then means that you use your business not as a source of just making money, but you use it as a creative expression of who you really are. So you figured out, who am I? What am I good at? What are my gifts? What's my reincarnation purpose? For example, with a tool like human design or gene keys or whatever. And you bring in the practical training, all your years of experience, and you see, is that aligned? If not, how can I be more myself? Where am I people pleasing? Where am I portraying this flawless, perfect, glossy thought leader, I don't know, brand out there because I think I will be more successful if I play that role? That's what I used to do. I did so much for the applause. I literally lost myself in this LinkedIn unicorn until I was allowed to peel down all of the layers. So business embodiment in the end means what you say, what you do, who you are is one, it's in alignment, and your business serves you. It's a tool of expressing yourself, and your business feels like home. It really feels like you. It nourishes you. It's not a source of burnout or depletion or, oh God, I need to do this.
Wow, that's another, because when you talk about the job, or I also want to come to the identity, right? When you said, because very often when I ask you, or we ask people, hey, who are you? You don't know them, you see them the first time, and you said, oh, I'm Dr. blah, 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 I'm do this, I have a Mercedes, I have a nice house, and I like Bayern Munich or something, whatever, this football club. But this is not who we really are, right? This is just labeling ourselves, but this is not our identity, our core values, why we stand up in the morning or where we would not give up. So, and you mentioned a couple of things like human design, and you're saying, why are we here and who you are. So my question to you is, one, to explain a little bit what is meant by that, right? When we said, what do you mean, Thorsten or Natalia? Why are we here? That's who I am. I said, no, that's not. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I have a worldview or a perception of reality which might not be very common, and it serves me perfectly. And my friends and the people that I work with, my clients, they like it, they feel inspired by it. So this is my worldview.
You said such a nice word. It serves me perfectly. And that's the most important thing. Sorry for interrupting, but that's so important.
All good.
Go ahead, sorry.
All good. So I do believe that I'm here voluntarily. So nobody forced me to be born, which is already a bold statement. A lot of people are like, whatever. Like, okay, step number one, I'm here voluntarily. Number two, life is a school, and you are here to learn, or rather remember certain things. Not only that, everybody has a curriculum. So everybody's here to remember or to learn or to train certain things. Plus, on top of that, everybody has different skills or talents or gifts, which doesn't mean that you can't learn anything. Yes, you can do all of that. But for me, I'm at the phase in my life right now where it doesn't make sense. Like, let's say you were gifted or born with a beautiful voice. Well, then become a singer. Why forcing yourself to be a basketball player because you think, oh, being like basketball is cool or whatever? And on top of that, you may be even a short person. No, I'm not saying that if you are a short person, you cannot become a great basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were gifted with a beautiful voice, why don't you make it easier for yourself and then use that voice, right? So I, for example, have been born, obviously, with the gift of creativity and imagination and making the uncomprehendable, the unknown, understandable through using a lot of metaphors and examples. I basically help people see through the veil of illusions so they can see life clearer. This is my gift. Thorsten, and I needed, I think, 4 years of accepting that because I'm like, that's not cool. How can I make money off that? That's esoteric, because I thought being esoteric is something bad until I learned that this is just a phrase that we use. So sit with, accept what you were gifted with, and then see how you're going to use that to design, to create a beautiful life, to co-create, because you're creating it with the people around you. And then design a life that when you die one day, you look back at it and say, gosh, this was amazing. And in case that reincarnation is a real thing, in case you're born again, you're like, yeah, I'm dying and I come back. This is, for me, the reason why we're here. This is a way how to look at this whole game of life that is empowering and that explains a lot of things that otherwise feel very, very painful. Are they scientifically proven? No, I don't care, because as you said, it serves me. And I'm not saying that this is the ultimate truth. I'm saying that this is my truth, and you're invited to see and to accept the parts that make sense to you. And then you take some other parts and off you go. Live your life, help other people, express yourself. That's why we're here.
Beautiful. So beautiful. And I could listen to you 2 hours, and I hope our listeners as well, because this is live your life, or how I say it, enrich your life, right? It needs to serve you. And my question for you would to be, because it sounds amazing and I totally understand, but for many people they would say, yeah, for you it's easy, Natalia or Thorsten, but I have kids, I have a partner, I have this job, I cannot do that. So what is your advice, or you said so nicely, invitation to them? Say, hey, give it a try, or just because we don't know that we have this beautiful voice, or that we are this basketball player, or because many people don't believe in themselves, right? They think they're not good enough.
Absolutely.
What is your invitation for them to expand their comfort zone, not even leave it right away?
I've learned in my first sabbatical that no matter what you think is true, that is how you look at this world. So in English, it's also beautiful. The word spelling, like buchstabieren, is also the same word for spell in the sense of Zauberspruch, that what mages or witches use, right, in fantasy movies. So this made me think like, aha, so the power of words, as the majority of people already know nowadays, it matters. So when you say, oh, I can't do this, life and you will do everything to prove you that you can't do this.
Can't do it.
So what you say and what you send out there, that's exactly what you get back. Now, the invitation is to find one mini step that makes it somehow acceptable. Okay, let me give you this example. I can't do this because I have kids. Well, I don't have kids, and I would argue that your kids want to see you happy. They love you. They want the very best for you. They admire you. And a little bit of and this is not to blame or shame you, but What kind of a role model are you when you're showing your kids it's okay to be miserable? They're going to create your own patterns. So ask yourself, yes, I have kids. Fantastic. I'm grateful and thankful for them. And what is one small thing that I could do while having kids, while being the best mom or dad, that feels realistic? Not the huge mountain, one small micro action that you could do to get one step closer to your goal, whatever that is, like quitting your job or becoming a better speaker. And you don't need to do that on your own. Tell that to a friend, tell that to a family member who really loves you and accepts you. Find your community online so you surround yourself by people who are on a similar journey, and when they succeed, see that as social proof that it's also possible for you. Instead of being jealous or saying things like, oh, they just have it easier. You don't know their story. You don't know what burden they are carrying. Be happy for them. If you're a little bit envious or jealous, okay, fine, you're jealous. You know what that actually means? Being jealous means that a part of you can also see that it's also happening and that it could happen for you. Wow, I'm jealous. That means I can become that as well. Fantastic. Okay. And then every day it's a conscious choice, one micro decision. I can do this. And what's this mini baby step that I can do today? And if you take 365 baby steps back to back, you have a year and you're so much closer to the goal. And along the way, life, people, situations, the universe, whatever you believe in, is going to send you signals, people, ideas, concepts that will show you that you're on the right path. And again, in the beginning, it's not going to be easy, and it's worth it. That's the school of life.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you mentioned this, or if people have kids, or when they have kids, or not, because we all have kids. We have our inner child always with us, right? And that's what I always do with my clients. That I said, I want that everyone runs through the world like Pippi Langstrumpf, right? And makes the world as she likes it. Because we did that when you were 6 or 7 or 5. You didn't care about the people around you, what they are saying. You were screaming, laughing, dancing through the rain. And we all carry that inner child still in us. However, we lost the connection with it. And I think that's a little bit what you said. It doesn't matter if you have kids or not. Just make that baby step every single day and make it a habit.
Exactly. That takes time.
Yes, but you say it's possible for everyone. Everybody carries gifts inside. And you said also something nicely. I liked how you described the word jealous, being jealous. I mean, that's I would like to have the same. Or why do they have it? Because everybody carries a heavy, light backpack. Some are more heavy, some are more light, some are more complex. But other people don't care about you or me, or because they have their own busyness, craziness and stuff. And wow, super, super. And Natalia, you recently just released a wonderful book with someone else.
Exactly.
Right? Is that something you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I'm wondering if that book makes sense. I published Mach's richtig oder lass es bleiben. So that's a book I've written with Jessica Lackner. It's available only in German. What we see over and over again is that a lot of women, they've done all the courses and master classes and they read all the books and they know everything about social media, and it feels annoying for them and they somehow don't take action. So with this book, the goal is to make this the last book that you read about social media, and then you make the decision, do I use it, yes or no? And both is okay. Because there's so many other ways how you can market yourself. You can use SEO, you can use ads, you can go into the offline world. So this is something, if that's a topic that you're interested about. But when we talk about, or when we look at all of the topics that we address today, what I think would be more interesting is my second book, and I have a German and an English version, Unverschämt Authentisch, Barefaced Authenticity, basically 25 flawsome stories from the journey to my true self. It's basically 25 stories during my sabbatical that show you, invite you, that every scenario, every situation in your life can be a an opportunity to learn and become truer to yourself. So I gave my best to be vulnerable and honest and give you an authentic idea of what it means to rebirth yourself or to go on a sabbatical, to go through a transformation. And in the end, I also mentioned 75 questions. No yes or no, no right or wrong, but these questions, they will bring you closer to who you are. They will create awareness about you and your relationship to nature, you and how you start your morning, you and what you think about business, you and so many other topics. So check it out. Everything available on Amazon. And if you liked it, let me know.
I think you made many, many listeners, especially women maybe, jealous, right? Because you inspired them and said, I want to have, you created that appetite. So in even the book, or however, the question would be, where can people, or where and how can people connect with you and said, I want to have the same, or I want to start, I want to make the baby step. So how can they connect with you, or what should they do?
Yeah, as you mentioned at the beginning, LinkedIn is still my major platform. In the past, I used to teach people how to use LinkedIn to become a thought leader, how to create organic content, generate clients and all of that. I don't do that anymore. And still, or yet, I use LinkedIn as my major platform. So you find me there with the handle at Dr. Natalia Wiechowski. Or if LinkedIn is not so much your thing, it's Instagram, same handle at Dr. Natalia Wiechowski. And reach out. Do you have a question? Do you want to work with me? Do you have a challenge? Let's see if I'm the right person, if I can create a piece of content out of it for you. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Just let me know, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. And we will share all these valuable links in the show notes, so they can click there anyway. So with that, Natalia, before we smoothly close, there's always this one final thing. I ask my beautiful and wonderful guests in the studio, what is the one thing you would like to share with our listeners? To enrich their life.
To enrich their life. That everybody has some gifts and everybody is great at something. And if you at the moment don't see that yet, that is okay. Talk with somebody who can help you or help you remind you of who you are. And that will give you so much more clarity. You don't have to do this on your own. Find somebody through conversation, through mentorship, whatever it is. Because once you have this basic clarity in life, things just become easier and you're not here to suffer. You are here to live a life that you're proud of and that really fills you up with joy. And if you don't feel that yet, it's okay. You will eventually get there. So all the best for your journey.
Beautiful, thank you. And you just said something with suffering, right? Pain is part of the life, but suffering is always a choice. So with that, Natalia, I don't know how much I can thank you. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for the inspiration you brought to all these listeners. I'm sure they will start their baby steps. And for that, I also want to thank you that you made the baby step with them in their future life. And thank you for being in my studio as a guest. And I wish you all the best. And we're going to share the links in the show notes. With that, everyone, thank you very much for listening and keep enriching your life.
And with that, we gently close today's episode. May something you heard stay with you as a reminder, as a spark, or simply as permission to breathe a little deeper. Please keep choosing yourself, not against others, but for the sake of your truth. Life begins when we live it from the inside out. You will find all the links in the show notes below. Feel free to explore what calls you. And I'm always delighted if you leave a review or a comment. Until next time, my dear listeners, stay grounded, stay open, and enrich your life. Namaste.